All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to another episode of Melissa Ann, where we talk all things health, business, and psychology. I am a certified health coach and personal trainer, and today I wanted to discuss transitioning and that it is okay to change your mind. And this is something that I have personally had to continuously go through because I have had a lot of transitions in my life and would beat myself up constantly about like not being able to stick to the same thing or changing my mind. And the beautiful thing about being a human being is that we are allowed and 100% capable of changing our mind. Like, it is okay. Like, we change, our opinions change, life circumstances change, and to stay stagnant is honestly kind of doing a disservice to yourself, especially if you know that you're feeling called to do something else. So with that being said, I'm like checking my hair. I just got out of the shower, so we're gonna just like mind the wet hair. But yeah, I wanted to just discuss this in a number of different aspects, whether that is in your health and wellness, whether that's like your exercising or your nutrition or what your diet looks like, but it can also be applied to your business or your career path or parenting. And it's a topic that like I feel like it's kind of addressed, but then like we feel guilty. I should have brought this. I should have brought it higher up. Maybe. Hold up. We're gonna address this. Hold on. This is your sign that it's okay to change, I guess, is essentially what I want to say. This is your sign that it is okay to change. And I apologize for all the hand gestures. I get really excited. Even when I like throw my hands in my pocket, I'm like fidgeting the whole time. It is what it is, okay? And you might hear my son playing Minecraft in the background. So if you hear like any like side noises, I apologize. That's we live in a studio apartment. So it is, this is just what we gotta do now, huh? We gotta make adjustments. But regarding being allowed to change, this can be, as I mentioned, applied to so many different areas. It can be like you could be very much stagnant in exercise. Maybe you don't get out at all. Maybe you spend a majority of your day just either sitting on a couch, sitting in a chair, or laying in bed. And you have decided that is not me anymore. I am no longer sitting all day long. I am going to change. I'm going to make adjustments. I'm going to go for a 3-minute walk today because we are focused on making realistic changes. And so, you know what? Maybe we'll go for a 5-minute walk. Maybe today we will go check the mail instead of just sitting here, or, you know what? Maybe today we will walk our dog. You know, if you have a dog, or you can walk your cat, or, you know, whatever. But it doesn't have to be like this huge drastic change. It doesn't have to be you going from sitting on the couch all day or sitting at a chair, just sitting all day. You don't have to go from sitting all day to I'm gonna get a gym membership and I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week and I'm gonna do cardio and I'm gonna lift weights. That sounds exhausting. First off, that sounds exhausting. And it will likely, and this is like me just being complete transparent or bringing complete transparency, is like you will most likely not stick to it. You may do it for a little while, but then you're gonna burn yourself out because you just put so much on your plate that you were not ready for. And this can be, again, applied to like all aspects of life. Maybe you got a new job and now you're doing this and you're like, oh, well, now that I have this job, I'm also gonna go and start eating really well. And in addition to eating really well, I'm also going to be going to the gym 5 days a week. And I'm gonna have a great relationship with all of my friends, and I'm gonna heal myself. And then you burn out. And I'm speaking from experience because I have burned out in all aspects, whether that's in exercising, in like creating all of the like social media meals, you know, like, oh, I cut all of the vegetables and all of the fruits and I ate all of the things and I meal prepped everything. And like I did it for like a week or two and then it was like, okay, that was fun. I don't have the time or the energy for that. And now I don't do any of that. And so allowing yourself to change is allowing yourself to take small steps and or giving yourself an understanding that it's okay and it's very much a human trait to change. Like if we aren't changing, and it doesn't have to be like a drastic change, but if we aren't changing, then I don't feel like that we're really growing. And it's important as a human species and even animals, like it's important for us to grow and to learn things. And you can just decide that like maybe what you thought you were excited about wasn't for you. But I talk a lot about like weightlifting and how even though the world of fitness says that you should be lifting weights like 3 to 4 times a week, or at least 3 times a week, or that it should be like a major part of your routine, we are constantly told what we can and can't do. And my biggest focus as a health coach, and a holistic health coach at that, is like looking at the big picture and being realistic with you and your life and your goals of if that really aligns with what you want. Because like, yes, like lifting weights is great, but there are so many different ways that you can do muscle building, and it does not have to be going and grabbing dumbbells or grabbing a kettlebell or doing these things. I truthfully like fell in love with jujitsu, and like there's just something so empowering about like learning how to maneuver your legs a certain way or your arms a certain way to like flip somebody who's like triple your weight and like make it feel effortless. Like there's just something so empowering about doing that kind of thing. Or I enjoyed Muay Thai, and that's kind of like a similar concept, obviously a little bit different because it's maybe not so obviously if you don't know anything about like the martial arts world. I'm still very much learning, but there's just something empowering about getting to like learn these techniques and learning like the different combos and then finally nailing down that combo. And I think the beauty of like the martial arts community or like dance, doing dance classes, it's you get to train your mind at the same time as you are training your body. And in a way, it can be so beneficial, especially if you're somebody who is always stuck in your head, because you don't have time to be stuck in your head because you are learning this new technique and like getting it in your head and being like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I gotta do this, and then my leg has to do this, or okay, I need to do 3, 7, 8, 5, 7, 4, you know, whatever. I'm totally making things up right now, but you catch my drift, okay? Catch my drift. But I just want to remind you that like we have but one life, and it is important to find the things that we are passionate about, that we find excitement about, that even though, and I feel like sometimes I'm like a broken record and I say this again and again, but even though like the world is telling us you have to lose, like if you're trying to lose weight, like you have to lift weights, and like I get it because your muscle burns more calories during the day, and so if you are trying to lose weight, like the more muscle mass that you have over fat, the more calories you're burning each day, which means you can eat more food and blah 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 blah. However, if you don't want to lift weights, you're not going to lift weights, and you're not going to burn that muscle, or you're not going to build that muscle, and you're not going to burn those calories. So my goal is to help you find those things that you are excited about and will stay consistent with, and being realistic. And if that means that you start off with a free trial at a couple of different gyms, a couple of different classes to see what you like, or there are so many apps, you know, some of us, a lot of us, maybe we can't afford the $180 membership, you know? And so there are a lot of free apps, or maybe not free, but like a $10 a month, like $20 a month membership on an app that you can still be learning and getting a benefit and getting your body moving and building muscle mass, but like in a way that benefits you, not in a way that like helps other people. Because like, look, like I did the weight training life. I did. I was in the military, and so I wanted to make sure that I could carry the like 200 something pound dude, 300 pounds in a kit and like for like 2 miles. So I was doing all of the weightlifting, and I was doing all of the cardio and the combination and the HIIT workouts and all the things every other day, or every single day except for like once or twice a week. And like that was my life. But like I'm not in the army anymore, and like maybe one of these days I will need to lift a 300-pound person and carry them 2 miles, but hopefully not, because we both gonna be struggling. But I'm far more passionate now about getting to learn things or just getting my body moving in general. So like I like to just dance at night. Like if I don't have a lot of energy, I will just spend my evening like dancing, or I'll look on YouTube and follow some of these dancers' tutorials. Or when I have the finances and I have the time to go to a gym and be consistent with it, I will go to a martial arts gym because I just enjoy getting to learn these new techniques. And I've had to like learn to accept that I'm no longer in this weight training lifestyle. And it's not to say that like I don't like go to the gym periodically and do my lifting weights, but I realized that like that wasn't me anymore. And like, no, you're good, honey. You're not in it.
Okay, good. I'm just going to the bathroom.
Okay, that's fine. But I realized that like weight training just wasn't for me anymore, and I wasn't going to be consistent with it. And so I was like, well, what can I be consistent about? And it's not to say that, like I mentioned, like people change. We can change. My kid's peeing. We're gonna wait. Elevator music would be real good right now. Yeah. Another area that we need to learn, I'm like, I want to be able to show like Relson Gracie Academy. Go check it out. Just kidding. But I do miss it. I miss my Relson Gracie. This one, I can't show it. But can we? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Whoa, big old stretches. This was Athens. They're now like one academy in Athens, Ohio. If you happen to be in Athens, Ohio. They also have one in Jackson, Ohio, and I think a couple of other areas in like the Southern Ohio region. So if you're looking for a jiu-jitsu gym in Southern Ohio, go check them out, okay? This is my shout out. Not sponsored because I don't even live there, but another area regarding change and accepting that it's okay to change your mind is in the realm of career paths or in education. So like for me, I hate like I'm like so like yeah like you should do this, but by the way, this is what I did. If you don't mind me sharing, I'm somebody who really enjoys getting to hear somebody and then like getting to hear and like getting that reassurance of like, oh thank God, like I'm not the only one, like someone else has also done what I do or is along that same path. But I got out of high school and I was gonna go pre-med and kinesiology, which I've shared in some other videos. I was also gonna go like physical therapy so I could be a doctor, which I can still do as a social worker, but I wanted to just be high and mighty and be like, well, I'm a doctor. Actually it's doctor. Thank you. But like maybe I will still someday. For now, I'm gonna be a master. Yeah, so like instead of Master Yoda, I'll be Master Mel, and I'm here for that as well. Yeah, you can call me Master Mel. Thank you. I have a purple lightsaber, so pretty dope.
I have a red lightsaber.
Christian has a red lightsaber, so we're pretty cool. But anyway, that's nothing to do with what I was talking about. So I wonder if can you pick it up? How good's my mic? How good are you, huh? How good are you? Can you hear that? Can you hear the whispering? How good are you tracking? Anyway, I was gonna be a sports medicine doctor, and then I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was like, well, maybe I want to be a nurse, maybe I want to do this, and I share this in some of my other videos, but I ended up joining the military because I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, so I'll just join the Army and be a medic and figure it out from there. And while I was in the Army, I was doing exercise science classes. And then I got out of the military and I was like, well, you know, everyone says I'd be a great nurse. Like, I'll just go get my nursing degree. Like, let me just work on my pre-nursing courses. And I remember being in one of my anatomy and physiology classes, just sitting there like editing photos because I was diving into like photography at the time and like working on a website. Mind you, like I'm in class and I'm working on like my own side projects. And I was just like, why am I going nursing? Like, because society told me I'd be good at it? Like, because other people like put their projections on me that you should get a stable income and a stable career, like go become a nurse, you'd be so great at it. And then I was like, yeah, you know, yeah, you're right. Like maybe I should pursue this. And never really taking the time to be like, okay, but like, what do I want? Like, what am I passionate about? Like, am I just doing this because other people told me I'd be good at it? Or is it because I'm genuinely passionate about it? And after that I dropped, well, I had finished up, that was like my final class, so I was already on the wait list for a nursing school, which took like 2 years. But after that I was like, you know what, no, like I'm gonna go get my bachelor's, and I got it in marketing. And I was like, yeah, I love this. Like, I love the psychology. I've always had an interest in how the brain works, and like understanding it from a marketing perspective is so interesting. And so yeah, I got my bachelor's in marketing, and then I was doing wedding photography, but I was like, but it's just because I'm like naturally good at this. Like, it's not necessarily that I'm passionate about. Like, and don't get me wrong, especially if you're like one of my wedding clients, like I love you guys so much. Like, I absolutely adored my couples. I had so much fun photographing these weddings, but it wasn't me. Like, it was really hard for me to succeed in that business because I wasn't passionate about anything wedding related. Like, I like marriage, and I love love. I do, I swear I do. But I had no interest in the wedding industry. I could care less about half the things people spent money on. And to be successful, genuinely successful as a wedding photographer, you need to be able to like blog and network with all of these different people, like being able to share about florists and the like table setups and the decor. And for me, I was like, honestly, like to me, that's just not what marriage is about. And like, I want like yes, I would love to meet somebody who is absolutely amazing, and I know I will. But he is here somewhere. I'm just waiting for him to show up at my doorstep and be like, I've arrived, and I'll be like, cool, it was about time. But I'm just not passionate about any of those things. And so for me to try to be successful as a wedding photographer, when I'm just like, yeah, no, I'll like put on a nice dress, and like we'll get a great videographer and photographer, and we'll just go get married somewhere where it's pretty and call it a day. Which, I mean, like there's a ton of below my photographers who do all the things, but it was just, I wasn't aligning with it. And so I let that go. It's kind of like that long side tangent. I let wedding photography go because I was like, yeah, I'm good at it, and like people love my work, but it's like, that's not where I feel the most fulfilled. And so I left the wedding photography area, and I left portraits, even though like I really enjoy it. And I always kind of find myself falling back into that path because it's like, okay, well, like, but I was good at it. Like, and so I should do it. But along that path, I let go of it as a passion. And it was a passion, like it was a hobby of mine. It was something that I enjoyed just getting to do for fun and getting to like capture moments, because I wanted a camera like 99% of my life. Like from like junior high through high school, every Christmas I asked for a camera and I never got one. And so when I joined the Army, I finally bought myself a camera like halfway through all of my traveling. So like most of my travel photos from Europe just aren't very good. They're like on a camera, like an old iPhone. But I ended up making it a money passion and not a hobby. And I took a moment to just step back and be like, well, do I really want to be a photographer, or am I just doing it because it's money? And you kind of like start to like lose the passion for it if you're creating it or turning it into a career that you're not actually passionate about. And so I kind of took a step back in like 2020, just before everything kind of like went downward. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back, and I'm no longer pursuing photography as a career. I want to be able to enjoy just capturing moments for myself and the things that I'm excited about, and enjoying photography and videography for myself instead of making it a career. And that can be hard because it's like, okay, well, this was my identity for like the last 7 years. Like now I'm not a photographer anymore. Like, and that can be hard. It can be hard to like follow your intuition, like knowing that this is no longer the path for you, and then having to re-identify yourself or realize that like it wasn't like your identity wasn't in the photography, it was in how you cared for others. Because that person, like my true identity is the same person I was when I was in the Army. It was the same person I was in wedding photography. And then I dived into like branding and website design, and the same thing went there. It was because people just were like, oh, well, you're naturally good at it, like you should just do this. but like I wasn't like super passionate about it. And like I love branding and I love all this stuff, but like doing it for each couple, or not couple, I'm sorry, I'm like diving back into wedding side. For each of my clients, just it didn't like light me up. Like I enjoyed creating brands and showing people how to do it, but I didn't get as much fulfillment doing it for other people. I liked being able to teach people how they could also do it themselves and how they can create it. Like that's fun for me. But having to like try to like nitpick someone's brain and be like, oh, is this what you wanted? No. Okay, but this is where my process was. And they're like, no, I just don't like it. I like this thing that I saw on Pinterest. I'm like, all right, well, I'm over this. And it was another one of those things where it was like I had this passion and this excitement, and it was a hobby for me. It was like a fun outlet. And then I turned it into a career, and I realized that like it wasn't for me. But like everyone else was like, oh, you're so good at it. Oh, you should charge for this. Oh, you should do this. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then yeah, like, you know, like a year or two into it, I was like, this isn't it. Like, yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, I have fun doing this, but like not really. Like this isn't what I want. And so I let go of that and transitioned again to working towards coaching. And well, not working, I am a coach, but working towards my long-term goals, like learning about energy psychology and tapping, which I'm going to do another video. And I've learned that I can't do this little thing, that little box thing. Apparently, I guess you can add it at the end, but you can only add like a little like icon, like a little like circular icon. So once I have my tapping video or energy psychology, I'll share about that. And I want to dive into like sharing about Reiki, but like you can already see, I'm all excited. Ooh, I'm aligned. Anyway. Okay. As I was saying before I got all excited. But I literally like, okay, I'm showing you right now. Like, I don't know if you can see like the shift in the energy, like as I transitioned into the conversations, but you just know. And I think that can be tied to like relationships. Like I know it's like the cliche, like you just know, like you know that this is your person, which maybe not, I don't know. I'm not a relationship expert. Very much not a relationship expert. No. I'm more of like a transition expert. Like I'm here to like remind you that like it's okay to change, and that like it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your passions and your career paths, and it's okay to just choose to be authentically you. And with that comes like the holistic aspect. And like this is where like my passion to like genuinely help people, that was like kind of hidden somewhere, and I had to like ruffle feathers in these different areas to realize like, okay, that was helping people, but not in the way that I wanted. Okay, that was helping people, but also not in the way that I wanted. And I was like, okay, well, how do I want to help people? And the thing that I liked about like exercise science and sports medicine was like, it's hands-on. Like I get to genuinely impact this one person. And although I moved away from like the sports side of things, I learned along the way like just how much whole health matters, just from my own life and experiencing like my own things of depression. And I'll do another video on that. Like I think it's over here, but then I think it's like over here. So one of these corners, if you look to your left, I'm not a flight attendant, I don't know, 2 doors, 4 doors, 2. Anyway, but it took me going down these different paths to realize what mattered the most to me and what I felt the most aligned to and what genuinely lit me up. And I realized just how important holistic health is for all of us, and being able to showcase through Melissa and all of my passions, like my love for travel, my love for photography and business, and like being able to share with people like there are literally so many different ways that you can make money. And if you are genuinely passionate about it and like this is like what you feel called to, like I want to help my clients reach that. And also health, like finding like what types of meals are best for you, like whether you feel more aligned, whether you feel healthier and more energetic and energized, having a more like high carb diet or a more low carb diet or higher protein or higher fat or a combination, because I feel like we can flow. Like there are times in my life where I needed more carbs and times in my life where I just needed all the protein, and somewhere in between, and like learning to eat intuitively, which I will have another video one of these sides about intuitive eating. I grabbed a workbook by some registered dietitians, and I'm really excited because I love getting to get the advice from a registered dietitian, because that's like I can give you like, hey, this is what I have learned, but a registered dietitian is going to be the one who can like genuinely sit with you and take the tests needed to understand like where your levels are at and what kind of things you should eat. But I have always been a big fan of intuitive eating, and I feel, again, in the diet world, the fitness industry, like there are so many things telling you what you should and shouldn't do. And my favorite thing about intuitive eating is that like it's on you, and you learning your body and learning what you need, not what everybody else tells you you need, but what you feel in your body that you need. And so I'm really excited to dive into that in another video. But yeah, I just do what matters to you. Like life is so short. You shouldn't be following what everybody else tells you to do. Like you should follow what you're passionate about and what you feel called to, and like the desires of your heart are there for a reason. Like you feel called to these things for a reason, and sometimes it's so easy for us to let our limiting beliefs and our self-doubt and our self destruction essentially to get in the way of that. And so my goal is to help my clients not let that get in the way anymore of following your dreams and your passions. So like knowing that like these desires of your heart will come to fruition as long as you believe in yourself and you take the steps to reach it. And like I feel like half the time I'm like speaking to myself in these as well, but sometimes it's just good to have an outside voice coming in to remind you that like you are worthy, you are amazing, and you are deserving of the life that you want to live, regardless of what anybody else has ever told you in your entire existence. You are deserving of the things that you love. So yeah, that's all I got for you. Okay, I hope you have a lovely day. I hope I didn't spiral too much. I am a recovering perfectionist, and so my focus is to just like allow myself to be me. And it was kind of hard for me because, you know, like there's all these like perfect YouTubers with like all the perfect cuts and like they stay on topic, but like my brain doesn't function that way. Like I can find 50 different ways that thing can correlate, and I'm just trusting that I will attract the right people. So if you're here, I'm glad you're here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.